Local 9 is a relatively small but very diverse local that does all what is considered outdoor electrical work, everything that is outside the property line.
We're going all the way from Skokie all the way down to Kankakee, and then we're going as far west as, Rockford area.
We do transmission, distribution, street lighting, traffic signal, communications type of work. We also actually do line clearance, tree trimming around Commonwealth Edison, distribution and transmission lines.
We have a lot of different weather conditions that we have to deal with today. Snow, ice, roadway conditions. Just getting out to the job is going to be a hazard in itself.
What brought us out here was power out in the area due to the tree limb on the line. When we come up to a job site or a situation like this, first thing we do is we kind of get together at the trucks and quickly look over. We got these hazards, we'll talk about it, and then we'll write it down in a job brief. Biggest safety concerns are falling limbs and the tree on the line.
We don't ever know what we're going to come across, so it's important to look out for one another.
When we come into situations like this, you got to be prepared for anything. You always walking out, you're always looking up, looking for tree limbs hanging, ready to come down. You could have lines that you don't necessarily see in trees.
You cannot do this work unless you have the skills in order to do it safely. If you're not aware that a circuit, if it energized when you're not there, can absolutely be catastrophic.
We were called out to test the line de-energized and ground the line for the tree crews to remove the limb from the line. Put our grounds up, and now the tree crews will be able to go to work. Once they remove the limb from the line, we'll be able to re-energize and put power back to these homes.
We're not always working in the best of conditions. Then they get drawn out to long hours until all the customers' powers are restored.
The linemen out there, they're definitely been called a special breed.
Whenever and wherever natural disaster strikes, Local 9 linemen may expect a call.
The utilities in whatever area is going to be affected have what they call a mutual assistance with other utilities throughout the country. So when somebody gets in a jam because of Mother Nature, they have people that they rely on. They go through their list and they start calling.
It goes to the heads of the company, and then the general foreman will call the foreman to call the crews to see who's available, who wants to go.
We've gone from the heat to the cold and back down to it, and then in the wind, the snow, the rain, you name it, we've been in it. And when everyone else is leaving the area, we're the only guys driving in.
Hurricane Irma. The wind speed on the ground where we were at was 122 miles an hour.
It is the most dangerous part of this line work. You go on a storm, you don't know what you're going to come across. There's down lines, there can be what's called backfeed, where people run their generators and are backfeeding electricities out those lines. The men and women out there have to be skilled, have to know all of the procedures.
You adapt to the environment pretty quick, know your surroundings. Depending on the time of the year, you know what to expect as far as animals, spiders, snakes, so you're cautious of that. We're like 30 miles off the Gulf of Mexico, and this alligator was probably about 15 feet from us, just following us, swimming through the murky water. We nicknamed him Bob.
One hurricane can destroy tremendous amounts of infrastructure.
Well, time is of the essence. Up here, if you're out of power for a couple hours and no TV, you get upset. Down there, you're out days, up to weeks, sometimes months, depending on the size of a hurricane. So you want to have people ready to get and hit the ground running as soon as that storm is over.
It's nothing the linemen haven't seen before. It's just a matter of scale.
Up here, we have to deal with tornadoes quite often. So it's just a bigger category down there when a hurricane hits, but it's the same type of thing.
The worst weather conditions I have ever personally worked in was we were working in North Dakota, and that was 2 foot, 3 foot, maybe snow, and then not including the drifts that went up pretty high.
We were out on Hurricane Gustav back in '08, and about 3 weeks later, getting close to the restoration, Hurricane Ike came in, so everybody was shuffled on the Greyhound buses and evacuated 3 or 4 hours north into the state. And then come back and everything that you built was all torn down again.
You're going down to a place that's been beat up. People have wanting their power back. They have no water, no food, no nothing, and they're so thankful. I mean, you're out there, you're working 16 hours on, 8 hours off, but when you turn somebody's power on, whether it's 2 days later or a week later, you can't believe how appreciative they are.
A lot of these guys miss families' birthdays, Christmases, holidays.
You do your job, restore power, you move on to the next ticket. You know, you don't wait for the pat on the back or somebody come out and say thank you.
Linemen have big hearts, and just give us a chance and we'll prove it to you.